So you guys have been requesting that I do this video for a little while, and it's finally time I talk about it. Have they forgotten about Morgan in the Walking Dead universe? Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe, and in today's video we're going to be doing another discussion video, highly requested by a lot of you guys, a lot of you Morgan fans out there have been talking about this one, wanted to follow up on it, wanted to talk about it. Is Morgan forgotten about in the Walking Dead universe? So, I'd say this is a very, very fair question, especially because I think we've kept our mouths shut about Morgan since, you know, the moment he left. Like, we've always been talking about Rick, we've always been talking about, we did a video on Michonne as well too. And a lot of people have been saying, Dan, honestly, I mean, Morgan is just as important. Morgan is just as important in the story. So, you know, is he coming back? Are we going to see him again? Is he concluded? What is the deal? So we're going to talk about all that stuff in this video. Now, going into 2025, and I think this might have been what triggered the Morgan fan base, is in 2025, there is yet again another year of what looks to be no indication on Morgan's character. Now, obviously, in early 2023, we saw his final episodes on Fear the Walking Dead, which they did advertise those as such. Those were Morgan's final episodes on Fear the Walking Dead. However, they did say that this was an open-ended story. This was an open-ended, you know, type of thing. And obviously, his final scene on Fear the Walking Dead was him trying to reach out to Rick, saying that he was going to go look for him, whether he was at Alexandria or not, right? And we all thought, especially because The Ones Who Live was releasing the year after that maybe, just maybe, we'd get something on Morgan. Well, it's been almost a year since The Ones Who Live, and there has been not a single mention of Morgan. So if Morgan's open-ended story didn't set up for Rick's series, where is Morgan? You know what I'm saying? And realistically in the story, where is he at? You know? Now, I'm going to say something that is probably going to piss a lot of people off, and I have a feeling that it's not really going to be a popular opinion, but Morgan is my second favorite character of The Walking Dead. Okay, besides Rick, Morgan is my favorite. And I must admit, I'm very, very confused on what they're doing with him. I have gotten this impression for a while, and I've mentioned this numerous times in Q&A videos. I get the idea that Morgan was wrapped up in 806. I do. I get the idea that they weren't even setting up for a reunion. I know that might sound crazy. I get the idea that all they were doing was calling back to what Morgan did when he started, which is, Rick, I'll keep my radio on every day at dawn, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's how they started, right? I guarantee you the writers were trying to do it to where it's like, oh, keep your radio on every day at dawn, blah, 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 you know, callback, big fancy callback, you know, send his character off in the sunset, you know, while he's doing the same thing that we saw him doing at the beginning of his journey, you know what I'm saying? And now he does it at the end of his journey. I don't even think that they were setting up for a reunion there. I really don't. Originally, I thought they were, but honestly, taking time to sit on it, especially seeing 2025 and how it's all Dead City and Daryl Dixon and all this other stuff, I don't think they were setting up for anything. I really don't. And that saddens me. That really does. Because that was such an exciting cliffhanger for Fear. That was such an exciting moment. And you mean to tell me that, like, it's just not going to get followed up on? Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they have any plans. It doesn't feel like they have anything going for that. It really feels like Lenny James was wrapped up on the franchise, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? The only other thing I recall Lenny James saying, because I know he's talked about this a few times, is if they asked him to do something with Andrew Lincoln, he would do it. Which angers the hell out of me, because those are the two characters I'm trying to get back together right now, is Lenny's character and Andrew Lincoln, right? Obviously, I want Rick and Daryl back together, but I would like to see Rick and Morgan, you know, have an interaction, you know? Rick react to Morgan having a daughter, you know what I'm saying? Which, while you're at it, please recast her. Recast Mo, please, if you know what's good for you, you know? But anyway, that being, a side note, I want Morgan and Rick back together in the franchise. And I admittedly thought it would have happened by now in The Ones Who Live. Because here's the thing. The Daryl and Rick reunion is one that's, like, so out there, especially considering where Daryl's at right now. Rick and Morgan's reunion is not, like, rocket science. It's really not. You got Morgan looking for Rick, going to Alexandria to find Rick, and Rick at Alexandria. So, you know, like, is it that difficult to get these actors in the same, like, spot? Like, is it seriously a IRL actor problem? Because I wouldn't think so. Like, Lenny James literally said that he'd love to do something with Rick if the opportunity presented itself. And Andrew Lincoln has said many times before, if the script is right, he'll do it. Which, the script sounds pretty darn good to me. Like, I mean, a quick reunion, you don't have time for something like that? Like, here's the thing. And this goes for all media, not even Walking Dead. This just goes for all media. I never like when something is set up and nothing pays off. Like the Proctors, for example. The Proctors on Fear the Walking Dead. They were set up as the massive antagonists for Season 4, which if Dave Erickson stuck around on Fear the Walking Dead, that would have probably happened. But they obviously didn't end up happening, and obviously that's not Dave Erickson's fault. I blame that on Ian and Andrew. They took over the show, they messed up the vision, etc., etc. But you know what I'm saying. I hate things that are set up and then they don't go anywhere. That right now is what it feels like with this Morgan and Rick, you know, thing. It just feels like they forgot about it. It feels like the only reason that Morgan pulled out that walkie is to call back to when his character was introduced rather than set up the future. It feels like instead of him calling out to set up a reunion with Rick, it was him calling out to Rick one final time to say that that's the end of his journey is how it started. Like, that's what it feels like. It feels more like a callback than it does like a setup, you know what I'm saying? If there was a Ones Who Live Season 2, and I think this is another reason why people were asking me to talk about this, is if there was a Ones Who Live Season 2, I feel like the likelihood of Morgan coming in would actually be kind of likely, I'm not gonna lie. But because The Ones Who Live just got debunked a couple days ago to get a Season 2, I think a lot of people are now realizing that Morgan is not probably coming back. Like if you want my honest thoughts on this, if you want my honest take, I don't think Morgan's returning, y'all. I really don't. I don't think Morgan's returning to this franchise. And that saddens me. It really does. Because if that's how he ends, walking off to go find Rick, and we have to just assume that they do, that's cheap. I'm not gonna lie. It's cheap as hell. And it's Gimple. It is a Gimple thing to do. It is a Gimple thing. I mean, like I said, I have accepted at this point, ever since the conclusion of The Ones Who Live, that this franchise is going to continue to disappoint. I love the franchise. I love The Walking Dead, but lately it's been nothing but a disappointment. Hopefully Dead City can find a way to prove me wrong. I would love for them to do that. Bringing Dwight and Sherry in to Dead City, admittedly, would prove to me that they have balls still. But what really proved to me is if they had something with Rick and Morgan. I'm not asking for much here. Like, I'm not asking for Ones Who Live, like I mentioned. You could give me a 6-episode limited thing of Rick and Morgan to cap off their story, and while you're at it, throw Daryl in there too, and cap it off like that. I wouldn't even mind. I would not mind at all. Like, a lot of people say, like, they're like, oh, like, you just want spinoffs, Dan. You just want spinoffs. Like, I thought you said you didn't want any more Walking Dead spinoffs. Why all of a sudden is your opinion changing? You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's not changing. It's evolving. Here I thought, and this is why back in the day I would ask for no more spinoffs, is because I thought that The Ones Who Live was going to give us what we wanted. The Rick and Daryl reunion. The Rick and Morgan reunion. We did not get that. So when people ask me, why did your opinion change all of a sudden? Why is your opinion different? Why do you all of a sudden not want Walking Dead, or like, why do you want Walking Dead spinoffs all of a sudden? Well, that's why, is because The Ones Who Live did not provide what I thought they were going to provide. So yeah, damn right I'm asking for a spinoff to wrap this whole thing up, you know what I'm saying? Opinions are not changing, opinions are evolving, because the writers didn't do what we all thought they would. So there you go. We got to get our reunion somewhere. We got to get our favorite characters interacting somehow. So the only other excuse for that is do another spinoff. One final thing. Quick little thing. Put our characters together. Tie this up in a bow. And for God's sakes, conclude The Walking Dead. I mean, seriously. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think? Do you think Morgan's done, or do you think that they're secretly planning something else? I would love to hear your opinions. And do you think that 2025 is our year for Morgan, or do you think that no year is our year for Morgan Jones? Let me know. Post your comments. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos of The Walking Dead. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Views Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon. More videos of The Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.